my god, guys, iOS Expert 649. I have great news. The iPhone 6 got iOS 12.5.8 in 2026. Yeah, you heard me right. The 5S, the 6 Plus, the iPad Air 1, the iPad Mini 2, Mini 3, and the iPod Touch 6th generation got iOS 12.5.8 a week or two ago, and this is what it is. And then the iPod Touch 3rd generation and iPad 1. Now, Apple did not update these devices, okay? But there's a new I shouldn't say exploit, but there's like a new, I guess you could call it exploit, but like there's a new tool in Legacy iOS Kit that allows you to update the iOS to 6.0 on the iPod Touch 3rd generation and 6.1.3 on the iPad 1. So you can see this is my iPod Touch 3rd generation. You can see it clearly has the iOS 6 settings app. It has the Maps app, and if I go into the, it's obviously running applications that only work on iOS 6. It is working on Unix time. This does not work on iOS 5. I'm showing you applications that only work on iOS 6 and later. And this Minecraft, for whatever reason, it crashes on iOS 5.1.1. You can see it doesn't crash. Obviously, you can only do creative worlds on that one. And this is the iOS 5 Maps app that I downloaded on like iOS 6. You see this is 6.0. You can also get 6.1.6 on this device, but I chose 6.0. And if you go to like the App Store, now the store doesn't really want to work on here for some reason. So you can see here, you got the black bar, but you'll be able to see when I go in the settings. You can see there's obviously do not disturb. There's iCloud. This is just like iOS 6, as you can see. This is iOS 6 running on my iPod Touch 3rd generation. You can see, have a look at the build number and the version 6.0 10A403. Have a good look at that. And also look at the back. This is obviously a 3rd gen without a camera. I'll even search the camera app. And yeah, and if you don't believe me enough, there's no YouTube app. You can see how there's only the App Store app. The classic YouTube app is not here. You can see there's my songs. Here's YouTube, but there's Safari links. There's YouTube, the App Store app, and there's also my songs. But guess what? When I search this, you can see there, no classic YouTube app anywhere to be found on this device. So this is, as you can see, this is actually iOS 6 running on this iPod Touch 3rd generation. Basically, how I did this was I went on to Legacy iOS Kit, and I watched Prag Calt's video. He did this on his iPad 1st generation, or his iPad 1. Whatever you might want to call the original iPad, whatever. So yeah, so Prag Called, I think it's Prag Called 1051. So Prag Called 1051 did this on his iPad 1, and I saw somebody else's video doing on their iPod Touch 3rd generation, so I tried on my iPod Touch 3rd generation. I didn't follow, I said what they had to say, and I did what I had to I said what Prag Called had to say. I said what the other YouTuber had to say, or I did it. I followed all the instructions very carefully, and I got iOS 6 running on my iPod Touch 3rd generation. Now to the iPhone 6. This is much less exciting of an update, but you know, it does make YouTube run, my fixed YouTube app run a lot better. So you can see if you run extensions like this, the iOS is like faster and more secure, and also fixes that iMessage bug, so nothing too crazy like that, but... And there's no iOS 6, there's no skeuomorphic design, no liquid glass, nothing exciting going for 12.5.8, but you know, Apple did make this update themselves, so yeah, if you got like an older device, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a lot of fun if you have one of these devices. So again, if you have an iOS 5.1.1 device, you can now update it to iOS 6. You can now update to iOS 6 if you have an... You can now upgrade to iOS 6 if you have an iOS 5.1.1 device. And if you have an iOS 12.5.7 device, you can now upgrade to 12.5.8. And yeah, thank you for watching, and as always, peace out.